Hello. Have you ever thought that cell phones were dangerous? Well, I'm not sure about you, but I have my iPhone settings where every Sunday I get a text message that tells me just how much screen time I've spent on my phone. I'm not sure about you either, but mine is always way too much screen time. It's usually around like 3 or 4 hours and like 30 minutes or something, which is way too much screen time for it to be only a 7-day week. So while researching about our cell phones are dangerous, I found out that on a reliable blog, they said that an average person spends around 90 minutes on their phone per day. That's crazy. If you calculate this to be like in a year span, it turns out to be 24 days per year. So if you go ahead and calculate this to an average person's life, which is around 70 to 80 years, it's 3 to 4 years that a person spends on their phone. Can you imagine living 7 to 80 years and spending 3 to 4 years on your phone? That's insane. It blows my mind every time I read that statistic. So when I was in high school, it was like right when the whole social media thing was coming about. In middle school, Instagram got created, and then it just went on and went on. And my friends and I, we got so caught up in the aspect of social media that we forgot to study. We would be on FaceTime with our friends in the app called House Party till like midnight every single night. And it kind of created a downfall in my grades to where my parents actually took my phone away at night just so that I would study. So high school students, because of cell phones, continue to have a decline in their grades because of the bad study habits that their cell phones inflict on them. Another thing that cell phones affect are driving habits in people, which are very bad because I'm not sure about you, but I stop at a red light and I'm texting my mom back or something, and all of a sudden that light turns green and I don't stop texting, I just keep on going. And I don't think that I'm the only person that does that because I see people going down the road all the time doing that same exact thing, which is extremely dangerous and just one of the many reasons that cell phones are dangerous as well. Another reason that I think cell phones are dangerous and that I have found in many different things that I have read about this topic is the exposing our eyes to that blue light. It creates a bad eye strain. People say that you're supposed to read a book before you go to bed at night. Well, I'm not a big reader, so every night I sit on my phone and I scroll through these apps that I think build me up and think that they will make me happy when I go to bed at night, when really it's just tearing my eye, my health down. So I have on my blue light glasses right now, which is helping me from the shadows that are coming back from my phone as I read this to you. But that's one of the big things of why cell phones are dangerous, is because the light that it makes our eyes expose. Another thing that I think is the reason cell phones are very dangerous is because, I don't know about you all, but I tend to pull my phone out in situations where I feel awkward. When I think that someone, like that I don't have something to say back to them, I just pull out my phone so they think that I'm busy and that I have someone to text back or Snapchat back or respond to on Instagram or Facebook. And I just use that in situations that I could be talking to them and building relationships with them, but instead I pull out my phone just so they can think that I'm someone that I truly am not. And so I think that's one of the big things. When I was in the 11th grade, I went on a trip to Sharp Top Cove, and on this trip, it's like a Young Life trip, so it's kind of like a church camp all in one, and you don't have your phone for a whole weekend. And it truly made me build relationships with friends from my high school that I would not have today if it wasn't for that trip, just because we were able to put these dangerous things to someone else and give them to them for the weekend and actually build relationships with one another. I think another big one is insecurity of ourselves because of social media. So because of these phones we have, we download these different apps and we put these different things on there, and we see the self-image that these other people have in these perfect bodies, and it creates a sometimes bad thing in us because we think that we're not as perfect as we could be because we see that influencer looking this way and we think we should look that way as well. The biggest one to me is the loss of an attention span. I can tell you that when I was little and I didn't have technology, I had a way better attention span than I do now, because as soon as I sit in that classroom and I think about my phone being in my pocket, I'm automatically disassociated with what's going on in that class. So in conclusion, cell phones are dangerous for many reasons, and I hope that you got that throughout this speech today, that we should become more aware of these reasons, and that we should just sometimes put our phone away and spend time with those that we love and that we should connect with. So, yeah. Bye, y'all.